Hey guys, I haven't really done anything Netflix related in quite some time now, but I recently finished just a couple days ago this new Netflix original show that I have to talk about because it's absolutely phenomenal, and that is Stranger Things. This is like a supernatural, sci-fi, horror, adventure, thriller, mystery. It has all different kinds of categories to it. It was created by the Duffer Brothers and stars Winona Ryder, David Harbour, and essentially a whole cast of unknowns, but all of the acting is absolutely phenomenal. The story of the series is that it takes place in 1983 Indiana. A young boy goes missing, and a telekinetic type of girl shows up and helps the boy's friends go looking for him. Meanwhile, the parent and the family of the boy who's missing goes looking for him and does their own investigation. Meanwhile, the police are doing their own investigation and find out some other strange things that are happening. And this story just keeps getting weirder and weirder, essentially stranger and stranger, hence the title, Stranger Things. I don't really know where to begin talking about this series, but I'm going to start with the good, and there is a lot of good about this series. The characters of this series are perhaps, in my opinion, one of the strongest things about the entire series, especially the little boys that go looking for their friend. These little kids are hilarious. They remind me very much of like a Goonies or like a Stand By Me. They have this bond that I don't think it's very organic and very unique. It feels like they were lifelong friends. It feels like they understand each other more than anything else. They definitely enjoy being around each other, even like little moments where they're arguing with each other. They understand each other. There's a ton of depth between these little boys. There's a ton of depth in the characters, all of the cast in total. I mean, these characters are absolutely well written, amazingly well written. They have great depth, great growth. They do amazing things. All of the characters have great depth, which I think is incredibly important. Also, another fun aspect related to the characters is that they don't tell you everything right away. These characters have very much slow builds. Even the things that you sort of are told, some things you have to sort of figure out yourself, which is a lot of fun in figuring out mysteries to the story. For example, the police chief has this sort of, not necessarily a mystery, but he has this background that they don't really tell you about. You kind of have to assume and build on it as the show goes along. Eventually they do sort of tell you more about the character, his background, why he acts the way that he acts. But the way that they do it is not primarily focusing on him, but they build each character on top of each other. I feel like it rounds the characters a lot more than if they just straight up told me one episode, the entire story of this character, the entire story of this character, then I would forget about other characters. But because they build it in a certain way, it adds a lot of mystery and a lot of fun to the overall tone of the show. Another massive positive for me has to be like the time period, the clothing, the sets, the overall atmosphere. This series is set in 1983 Indiana. Now, I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 1990. But I absolutely love the 80s for some reason. 80s culture, references, clothing, movies, everything. I love about the 80s. I don't know why. I watched every single episode of I Love the 80s when that was on like VH1. I obsessed over that show. I love everything about the 80s. And the great thing about this show is that they completely suck you into 1983, at least in my opinion. I never felt like it was shot in 2016. The environments and atmosphere, the clothing, the settings, the inside of the house, like the different appliances that they would use, stuff like that. It's little things that they built this world and made it feel like it was 1983. How they found some of the props maybe from the 80s in order to put it into this show, I have no idea because I'm assuming it's probably super hard to find some of these items still today. But the fact that they are in there, that it feels very authentic is something that I feel like is definitely worth watching the show alone. If you're not even a kid of the 80s or anything like that, at least you can appreciate it. You can completely be sucked into a different time period and completely enjoy the world, the atmosphere, and the story at the same time. Now, the title of this show is Stranger Things, and that's exactly what happens, like I said earlier. Things get stranger and stranger as the show goes on. Now, I don't want to have any spoilers here because I think this is a phenomenal show and I think you should watch it immediately. But there are a couple of CG characters and things that sort of happen throughout the show, salt and peppered in there, especially in the latter half of the series. But I think they're absolutely spectacular. I don't know to what amount they used practical versus CG effects, but I think it looked very, very nice and that it worked very well within the structure of the story. It wasn't overly used, but it was used good enough that it was very believable, and it added a lot of depth to the story, and it definitely made things very, very weird and very, very strange. But they used it in a very small doses, which was a lot more fun for me than if they overused it like, I don't know, some other series may do. But I feel like they used it just enough to keep you interested on little things, but the show wasn't completely hinged on how good the CG effects were. Now I could probably go on and on about all the positives of this show, so in order to save some time for not only myself but you most importantly, let's go on to what I think are the negatives, and there are very few, if any at all. So let's get into that. So the biggest negative I would have to say about Stranger Things is that it's only 8 episodes. It's only 8 one-hour episodes. I want some more, but I don't know why they only made 8 episodes. Usually Netflix does about 13 episodes. I think because this was kind of this odd series that they decided to make it 8 instead of 13 episodes. I just wish there was more. I absolutely loved it. I finished this series in probably about 2 days, and that's only because I had to go to work. I had to go to sleep and wake up the next day. So that was the only reason that I didn't finish the show in one night. But I absolutely loved it. I think that's my only real complaint. Everything story-wise, setting-wise, character-wise, everything was great. This was a massive ode pretty much to Stephen King, 80s movies, Steven Spielberg, Richard Donner, all of these old 80s films, environments, everything felt very alive in this series. And you can see that. You can see the influences of like Stephen King. You can see the influences of like Stand By Me, Goonies, E.T. There's all these different things that combine and make this series absolutely great. And I can't say enough good things about it. So guys, the grade I'm going to give Stranger Things is an A+. Like I said, this is a phenomenal series. This is my first A+ grade I think I've given to any movie or TV show. I think this is definitely worth watching. I think you have to see this because it's such an amazing show. I'm 99% sure they're going to get a season 2. They have to, the way it ended. I just hope they don't follow like the Hemlock Grove, which is also a Netflix series. I hope they don't follow that formula. The first season of Hemlock Grove is absolutely amazing. Once they jump into season 2, it just goes downhill. They shoot themselves in the foot. And it just doesn't get as interesting as the first season. I hope that they don't follow that formula with Stranger Things. I hope that they can keep building on the weirdness and keep it fresh and light and still be able to have these character moments. I think that's really, really important. But I hope they don't follow that formula. I think that they won't because the Duffer Brothers who created this series seem like they know what they're doing. They're making a great choice as far as writing, as far as directing. They do a phenomenal job in all aspects in my mind, which I had to give an A+ for because it's beautifully shot, beautifully written, beautifully acted. Everything is perfect. Not necessarily perfect, but there are a lot of strengths to this show. So let me know down in the comments below, have you seen Stranger Things yet? If so, what do you think about it? Obviously you love it if you have. At least I'm pretty sure you'll love it if you watch it. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Also, while you're down there, let me know what you think could happen in Season 2, because there's some pretty interesting things that happen toward the end of this series that they need to address in Season 2. So let me know down in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and like always, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos, and we'll see you in the next one.